Well, it's amazing that he lived. I think that's the rare case. It's not that rare though that these incidents happen. We've seen not as much in the United States, but primarily people leaving sub-Saharan Africa or Asia and looking to enter into Europe. That's generally where these occur. To have it happen within the United States, even though Hawaii was the final destination, is unique. But illegal immigrants have typically used this as, unfortunately, because it's so fatal in many cases, have used this as a way to to go from point A to point B. I think the angle here, though, that's a little disconcerting from a security perspective is all these years after 9/11 and these billions and billions and billions of dollars spent, is how is a kid able, at San Jose International, which is a major commercial airport in this country, how is he able to evade security and have full and complete access to a commercial airliner that was fully fueled and with passengers and without anybody seeing it? That's disconcerting.
Yeah, they say they saw him on surveillance video when they looked later.
When they looked later, he was on the video, so the video captured him. And I think it speaks to a couple things. I think first it speaks to the nature of trying to protect something as complex and as global as aviation, even airports, whether it would be Cleveland or Akron in our region. These are some of the biggest places in terms of human traffic on a daily basis. Cleveland Hopkins, I think, employs somewhere around 8,000 people, for example. Akron less than that, but still significant. And what you're really left with is lots of people, including passengers and employees and others, having access to these places is what we want. But at the same time, when you're providing access to thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people on a daily basis, in many cases, people can navigate these systems because of the complexity of them.
And it's chilling when you think that luckily this guy just went to stow away.
He wasn't trying to put a bomb on an aircraft that wouldn't have been detected until after something terrible may have very well happened. So it becomes disconcerting. It also speaks to the law enforcement security dynamics in terms of the different organizations that work at the airports. I think most people watching will think that the TSA is in charge of every component of aviation security post 9/11, and that's just simply not true. Each airport is its own unique entity, many of them city-owned or some of them privately owned, but they have local law enforcement officers from the community in which the airport's located. They do have private security folks. There's also FBI agents at many of the airports. And of course, there's the TSA screeners that most travelers are familiar with more than anybody else. And trying to get these folks to integrate and communicate on a regular basis, like any organization, is sometimes difficult. And it appears that was what the case was here, is that you have different folks with different responsibilities, and this guy was able to find a way to evade the security measures in place to do what he wanted to do.
And in most cases, I checked with Akron Canton about trying to do this story. Well, we don't talk about security. In some cases, the best security, people don't even know it's there.
That's right, and that's often the case, is that TSA is a very visible presence, and there's reasons for that. But at the end, you're right. The great way to do security is when nobody knows it's happening, and when plots have never even been attempted, because the bad guys, the people that are looking to cause harm to the system, just simply don't even try, because the risk-reward formula for them is not in their favor.
But like you said, when you something that's this massive, just if somebody really wants to do something, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, you're talking over 400 commercial airports every day, moving about 2 million people, the equivalent of Houston, Texas, on 30,000 commercial flights. Again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, just in this country alone. And you expand that out globally, and the numbers are relatively double that. So you're talking a global transport network with huge operating centers like airports that just make it very, very difficult to protect all things for all time from all people looking to cause it harm.
I imagine every airport in the country is reviewing their security measures.
Oh, certainly, and they're also, again, they're coordinating with each other, meaning the airport security folks are talking to the TSA folks, are talking to the local law enforcement officials, and ultimately what you're looking to do is get better coordination, which is something that's been a big positive development post 9/11. But at the same time, it's something that still is always required and always deserving of attention.
And you were talking about this guy surviving. It's almost like they're questioning, did he really do this? Because you hear him saying, I don't think that's
Yeah. Well, there were some FAA numbers I saw earlier that said about 1 in 4 people who do this are able to survive. But 3 out of 4, the fatality rate of this is very high because of the lack of oxygen and the temperature at the altitude. Particularly, what's remarkable about this is it was for a long flight. I mean, you know, San Jose to Honolulu is a long flight.
Right.
So, you know, it speaks to his physical ability to overcome, but at the same time, there's disconcerting notions about the security at San Jose International.
Anything I'm not thinking to ask you? Want
We should still want to, you know, if we want to take a vacation or need to travel for business, this shouldn't be a scare. It's just a hole that is part of a greater reality that is a global transport network that's moving well over 1 billion passengers a year. And operates, in most cases, the vast majority of time, safely, securely, and without incident.
And usually when these things happen, these are the kinds of things that make things change.
Yeah, they do make things change, and they make people pay closer attention, because complacency is always the enemy of security. We think we've done all that we need to do, and then an incident like this will reveal that we do have holes, we do have vulnerabilities, and it's time to be vigilant once again. In this case, the young man wasn't trying to cause any harm to the system. That's thankful. We should be appreciative of that, but there are still bad people out there who think that aviation and all that aviation means are the best forms of target for them.